So most of the time I feel like a fairly terrible uncle, and as such it's my job to make poor decisions and possibly scar people's kids for life. To that end, I was approached with the request of building a PC for school work and some light gaming. Now, I know that offices often clear out their hardware every 4 to 5 years, so I chose to look on eBay to see what I could find in the kind of micro form factor or small form factor range. And I managed to find something with an 8th series i5 processor, so that's 6 cores, 16 gig of RAM, and a 256 gig hard drive, which turned out to be actually two 256s, one of them being an NVMe, all for around £130. So I ordered that, run the usual range of tests, worked out that I could run Minecraft and Stardew Valley at 60 frames per second. Everything's absolutely fine. After that, though, I just kind of thought, I can only play Stray at 9 frames per second. Oh, let's blow the budget. This is what I mean by terrible uncle. I had one job, and that's to build a cheap PC, and that's gone sideways. So I started looking online at small form factor, low profile graphics cards within a 50-watt budget, because it turns out that the machine I'd ordered only had a 180-watt power supply. It's very, very small. And after looking at the RX 550 and the ARC 380, I thought, well, the performance isn't particularly great. For a little bit more money, I can get an RX 6400, which is a fairly recent card, but for 50 watts performs admirably. So more money later, the card arrived, I inserted it in the machine, and then started running a whole bunch of tests. I'll get some quick gaming benchmarks in a second, but first, I just want to say this machine's actually quite nice, but Steam have just released some new family features which are absolutely fantastic. So before, if you wanted to share your account, it would kind of lock out your account from what I can remember. It's been a while. But now it just locks out that specific game, and you can also control which games it can access from a pretty straightforward menu, and then the child in question can install whichever games you've allowed them access to. So all in all, that's pretty cool. The one thing I would say, though, is it would be nice if the list ordered itself so you could see the games that you've enabled at the top. It would also be nice to have the PEGI ratings next to the game so that I can see at a glance what the recommended age is for each game before enabling it and accidentally giving them doom. So, for the Steam family side, you create your child account, you create the Steam family group, and then you add the children to that group. You decide what they can and cannot access, for example, community, chat, the store, pick the games, and you're off. Once everything's all set up, you get a good report of what the child's playing and what they have access to. And if you do need to give them access to the store or something like that, you can enable it for just an hour or longer. And then when they play the games that you've enabled, it only disables that one game in your account and not the entire account. So overall, thank you very much, Steam. This is available currently in the Steam beta. Hopefully it will make it into the main release soon. So with that out of the way, let's have a quick side-by-side look at the 8500 with its onboard graphics versus the RX 6400.
faster.
As you can see, it will do AAA titles at about 50 to 60 frames per second, and other things like older titles and some of the more child-friendly titles, you're looking at 100 plus. We gave them a 100 Hz 1080p monitor. It has FreeSync, which works nicely with this card. So overall, I think they're more than happy. They're probably only going to play Minecraft and Stardew, but they have the option to play Stray, but not Elden Ring. Not yet. Hold. So that's it. So the takeaways from this are you can get good quality machines that can be turned into gaming machines for not a great amount of money for kids. I would probably say you can get away with just buying the base unit for £100 to £120, and that'll play Minecraft fine for them. I would go one further to say if you have the space, don't do what I did and get a small form factor. Just get the regular form factor, because then if you do want to put a GPU in it later, they will be cheap. And power supply is likely to be bigger than the 180 watt power supply that was in this unit. So again, you'll have that expandability. If I wanted to put a bigger power supply in, it would cost a lot of money and it would be quite difficult to find anything. And you'd probably hit a 300 watt max just because of the size. Then you'd have ventilation problems and so on. So I think this unit is now at the theoretical maximum spec that it will ever be. I also put in a 1 terabyte SSD because I'm an idiot and I just wanted to be able to install a lot more stuff. I did rationalize it out in my head thinking this will be their Christmas present. So the hard drive and graphics card are kind of Christmas. The reality is I will forget. Probably within the next 2 months, I will just forget that I bought the hard drive and the GPU and anything else and the games I put on there. And I'm fine with that. Again, terrible uncle, don't keep track of anything and will probably spoil people's kids. So that's it. If you like this kind of video, let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, share, all that usual nonsense. This is my second attempt at making this video because the original was about 12 minutes long and way more boring than this. Stay safe and thanks for watching.